Dottie West, Sexy. Sexy Dottie West is my guest this week. How are you, Dottie?
I'm fine, sexy Ralph Emery. How are you?
We're going to talk about age on this show, because I think age is an attitude. And this is a very beautiful, beautiful grandmother I'm talking with.
Thank you.
The fact is, when I was growing up, grandmothers weren't supposed to be that pretty.
Well,
or sexy, perhaps that is the term.
Yeah, my grandmother was pretty.
Oh, they're pretty. But didn't have the sexy image of a Dottie West. Maybe I just didn't know any grandmothers in show business. How are you?
I am fine, just fine, happy as can be.
And busy?
Very busy. Just getting ready to go to Canada on tour with Emel Ventillis and Kenny Rogers.
Is that the package?
Well, I work with Mel first a few days and then Kenny Rogers.
I see.
Mm-hmm.
I thought Kenny Rogers, as we taped this show, was in New Mexico filming The Gambler #2.
Right. He is, but he's evidently taking a couple of days out because we are working. Calgary, Alberta,
right,
Canada, and also Edmonton.
Steve Warner, when he was on this show, said he'd been out to your house, and he said it was unbelievable. You had the bowling alley, and you had all the video games, the arcade.
Well, not all of them, but we have a few, and it's fun.
Well, it blew Steve away.
Well, I grew up to be a kid, and I never had these things growing up, and I really like to play games. I named my music room the Tulsa Ballroom, and the guys hung a really pretty mirrored ball in just our sound room, and so anyway,
you're talking about at your house.
At my house, yes, So we call it the Tulsa Ballroom.
How big is this music room?
Oh, it's not a very big room, and yet it's a lounge where we listen to our music just off of a bowling alley. Now, I know that's crazy, but
well, all right. How big is your house?
Oh, I don't know. How do you say how big a house
square
is?
feet.
I don't know.
Okay.
I don't know. I think it's does 12,006 sound right?
Well, that's a big house. I mean,
well,
that is
we're a big family.
That's a monstrous house. That's a small hotel. You know, I remember something about you were purchasing a house one time, and I'm going to bring up something. Entertainers in Nashville, famous entertainers, apparently cannot openly buy a house. You have to buy it sort of blindly, don't you, so that they won't jack the price up.
Right.
In fact, I think that happened when you bought the house over on Shies Hill Road.
You have to let somebody else do the bidding for you, I guess, or whatever, looking for you.
If they think of a famous rich star wants to buy, then the price goes up, doesn't it?
They just think we're rich. That's in their mind.
I know, but that's the image. That's the image you project.
Oh, really? In this cotton jumpsuit?
That's all right. And, everybody wants to make a killing. And they figure, well, for instance, Kenny Rogers, were he to come to town and announce he wanted to buy a house, I'm sure the price would go up because they think of Kenny as being a very moneyed man.
Right.
But so Kenny would have to buy it through somebody else.
Right. And he probably would. Of
course,
He's a very good businessman.
He probably could buy the town if he wanted to. Dottie West has had some interesting things happen to her in her life. I give you credit for discovering Larry Gatlin, for instance.
Yes, I really believed in him. And I don't know, though, when you say discover, that family had been into gospel music, and had done very well down Texas way and down there in gospel. And they sing such great harmony together. I think that's how it started and happened. And what I'm really trying to say is I think that Larry Gatlin would have happened sooner or later. I don't think you could hold a talent down like that.
Dottie has recently remarried. You were married to a fellow I knew quite well, still do. I don't see him that often, Bill West. You married to Bill for 20 years.
Right.
And then you married a young man who was a drummer.
Right.
What was his name?
I forgot.
Byron Metcalf.
Oh, yeah, you remember. No, he's a fine drummer.
Doesn't he play for Gilly?
Right. He's with Mickey Gilly, and Gilly and I are going into Lake Tahoe at Harrah's for a week, coming up very shortly. And I look forward to it. we've worked there before together.
All right, I want to get on because I want to get to the heart of my
Yes.
question.
Good.
Now you're married to a young man named Alan Winters.
Winters.
But there had to be a time between marriages. I'm asking because I experienced this, okay? After divorces are not pretty. They're not pretty.
Not pleasant.
They're not.
Yeah.
Thank you. That's the word I'm looking
Yeah.
for. Pleasant. And after I had a divorce, and I have been married 3 times as well. The last time it took for me, but I was very lonely. I was really lonely, and I wondered if that had happened to you. Did you?
Yes. Even though I've been very busy, I have never been alone, until this past divorce. I never was really alone because I got married very young, and I didn't care for the single life and being alone, and yet I was scared to get married again.
Did you date a lot?
No, not
Try out a lot of people?
No, I was too busy. No, Alan and I.
See, you've
well, he's
never-
been courting me for 3 years.
See, this goes back to something you said earlier. You said you didn't really have a chance to be a teenager because you married the first guy you ever kissed. So you didn't date a lot then. So after you and Bill divorced, I don't know how much you dated, but I've gotten the impression that you've never really had a chance to date very many people.
I haven't.
In your whole life.
That's right. Still haven't, and never will.
Do you feel like you
Today, I
Do you
can
feel
say
like
that.
you missed something?
If I did, I just found it.
You're very happily married, obviously.
Yes.
And you mentioned that he was not going to travel on the road with you. Did you
Just periodically.
Did you sit down and talk this over?
Yes.
I guess what I'm asking, are there ground rules in this marriage?
Yes, we are planning. We have organized. We've really talked over all of the problems, that can come up, because this is very difficult for a man to be married to a woman that travels all the time, and.
All right, let's put it out on the line here, where it is. It's very difficult for a man to be married to a woman who makes a lot more money, wouldn't you say?
Yes.
I've experienced that. That hits your pride. Is that going to be a problem for you?
Oh, I hope not. And we have discussed it, and we will continue. But as long as he has a career of his own, and he is busy, and also involved in mine in certain ways, he really does care about my career, and he's very, proud of it, and hopes to see it go on and on. So,
see, I'm asking you these questions when really it's nobody's business but yours and your husband's.
but I'm very honest, and I don't mind.
But people want to know, so that's the reason I ask. My guest is Dottie West. We have been peeking into her personal life. I want to talk about Shelley for a moment, Shelley West. She was a part of your show at one time, wasn't she?
Yes.
All right, I'm going to tell you where I'm going. I've always gotten the impression that she sneaked away from home. And we talked about it when she was on the show, that she ran off from Mother and
with my guitar player.
and moved on to California, where ultimately she got married.
Right.
Well, she married Alan Frizzell. Were you
Right.
ever opposed to that?
No, it's not that I think I should, because I definitely know that I should not be the one to choose who my daughter or my sons should marry. No, I never tried to do that. But it just surprised me that they eloped like that,
Alan Frizzell was your lead guitar player?
Right.
And they I guess, because she was in the same show and they had contact, they fell in love.
That was it.
Let's talk about the rest of your family. Are they married?
I have one son that was married. It's my oldest son, Mo, or William Morris West III. We call him Mo for
He's
short.
married.
He was married in December. And Carrie and Dale still live at home. Carrie is my sound engineer and tours with me and my crew.
What did they think about, what was their reaction to the appearance of their mother in We magazine in the seductive pictures?
Oh, my goodness, you're using such sexy words today.
Well, I think they are sexy. They were meant to be sexy.
Thank you very much.
I'll say that they are not dirty.
Thank you. Thank you very much. What did my kids say about this?
Mm-hmm.
Well, I think that, they teased me a bit as far as that. But my youngest son, I was a little bit concerned about him seeing it. But when he did, he looked at it and he says, "That's my mom. Mom, did you do that?" I said, "Yes, I did, Dale. Do you like them?" He said, Well, yes.
I think he probably felt you were happy with it, and so was he. You are really, you also, you really have a nice body. I'm going to lay it out there where it is. You really have a nice body, but you work at it, don't you?
Watch it now.
You work at it, don't you?
Yes, I do.
You exercise
I exercise every morning.
Aren't you the subject of an exercise magazine?
Yes, we did an interview and pictures with a magazine called Fit, and that's it's one like that's very similar to the Runner magazine or Shape. But anyway, this is...
How much do you work out a day?
Well, it varies, but at least 30 minutes, and then I like an hour or 2 hours. Now, on the road, on a sit-down job, like when we're working Las Vegas or Atlantic City or Tahoe, something like that, every morning I have my 2 backup vocalists, they're girls, and Becky, my secretary, come to my room, my suite, and the hotel, and we work out. And, I mean, get serious, and we might work out 2 hours.
You doing aerobics?
Yes, And then I think each of us find what works for us personally. I mean, each of us have little problems that maybe the other doesn't, But you just learn what works for yourself.
Tell me about your husband. When did you get married?
We got married June the 28th. I was a June bride. And I met Alan as a sound engineer for Clare Brothers, one of the best sound company in the States. They travel all over the world with rock and roll groups and people like Elton John, Kenny Loggins, and people like that. But 3 years ago, he had been working about a year now with Clare Brothers had with Kenny and I. And this is when we were touring together all the time, just about. And doing I think that year we did 170 concerts together. So anyhow, that's how I met Alan.
Alan Winters.
Mm-hmm.
What is Alan doing now?
Alan he has just moved here now from Lancaster, Pennsylvania. Clare Brothers is just outside Lancaster, a little town called Lidditz. And he just moved here and is getting situated and going to start, since he's been all over the world, and he really kept notes and everything of all the hotels and all the places and all the travel, and he took care of a lot of that part too for the sound crew and light crew. So he is going to be starting for music people, pretty much a travel agency. He won't be traveling. I've traveled with previous husbands, and it just doesn't seem to work that way. It's when you're together 24 hours a day, there's nothing new to tell each other, and I don't know, with my being gone and coming back home from tours, Alan is not going to tour with me, except maybe now and then.
My favorite quote along that line is, "I married him for better or worse, but not for lunch." Did you ever hear that?
That's neat. Yeah, that's well put. Okay. Make dinner, but not lunch. Okay.
How old is Alan Winters?
Alan will be 30 this year.
All right, you're 20 years apart.
Yeah. But, he's so much more mature than his age, than 30. Those are only numbers, chronological numbers.
Okay.
I don't know how to say it, except I just don't feel my age, and I think it's wonderful.
Do you resent the press harping on this?
No, no, I really don't.
Because I read the announcement of your marriage in the paper. That's the first thing they jumped on.
But they had wrong figures too. But even that, at first, I thought, oh, I wish they'd had it right, But it's okay. We are happy, and that's all that matters.
Well, sure, and it's also your business.
That's right, and my private life. But love, I don't think age matters to love. It's always been accepted for older men, businessmen, 60 and 70, to marry a 25 or 30-year-old girl. I've been on the road and done a few dates with people like George Burns, and he makes no bones about it. He likes those younger girls.
Do you resent the double standard?
No, I don't resent it. I just think that why don't they accept as well that this could happen to us? I guess that not really getting to be a teenager. I worked constantly on the farm. I was raised on a farm, the oldest of 10 children, and I helped Mom raise those kids. Never really got to date until I went into college. married the first guy that kissed me, and had 4 kids. This is the honest truth. Had 4 kids, and 2 of them while I was still in college. And we were married 20 years, 20 great years. But we were together all the time, and I think that's really what happened to it. We have 4 great kids, and right now, those 4 kids have not a new dad. No, Alan is not their father, not to be in that image at all. He is their best friend.
You know, you were on this show last year with Shelley West.
Right, that was fun.
And it seems to me in the back of my mind that we were talking about a play you were going to go on the road with, Best Little Whorehouse in Texas.
Best Little Chicken Ranch in Texas, that's right.
Did you do that?
Yes, we did. It was a lot of fun.
Did you play Mona?
I played Miss Mona.
Where'd you do that?
We were on tour for the John Conley, yeah, we were just talking about John Conley, John Kinley Theaters. And that's in Akron, Ohio, Mid-America. Gee whiz, we'll get it together here in a minute.
Who played opposite you? Who played the Burt Reynolds role?
Oh, you're asking hard questions.
Okay.
Could we start over with this?
All right. See, I've never seen the stage play. I've heard that the stage play is better than the movie.
It is. Well, now I hate to say that because they are different. And some people might like the play better, and some people might like the movie better.
I assume there are songs. I know Dolly wrote some songs for the picture. I assume there are songs in the movie that are not in the stage play.
Right, but
did you both sing and act?
Yes, there were 6 songs in the play that I did. And great music, but Dolly just added some of her touch to it, and I could see. I've seen the movie maybe 3-4 times now, but not before I did the play.
How many times did you do it?
5 weeks for 6 nights a week, and only 1 show a night.
That really had to change your life.
It was a new experience, and I only had 5 days to really learn the music and the script. But you just have to get busy, and you can do it.
Did it come off to your satisfaction?
Yes. By the time we rolled into the 4th and 5th night, it was really fun. I really enjoyed it. In fact, John Kenley just sent me another script to read, but he is using this at a time, or playing it at a time, that I can't do it because of my other schedule.
Well, this was a new venue for you.
Yes.
Were you nervous?
At first, yeah, the opening night, I'm sure I was. I knew that I knew my lines and the music, but I was working with some good actors and actresses from the Broadway play in New York, and it was, I thought about that some, and I knew that I hadn't really been into acting, but it was an easy role for me to fall right into, because Miss Mona was motherly to these girls, and a very good character. I really enjoyed playing it. I guess my mother never thought I'd be a madam, but never saw me that way, but it was a lot of fun.
Dottie is a subject of many, many magazines. She has brought a ton of them in here.
No.
And I may talk about some of them. You're in Good Housekeeping, aren't you?
Yes, Shelley and I.
Is that the current issue?
No, it was, I believe, last November. But you can tell them why I brought 4 or 5 magazines in, if you'd like. I don't mind at all. Ladies and gentlemen, he asked me to bring in a magazine that was, well, it was this year's Christmas issue, and it was called We. Now,
We magazine.
Yeah, I didn't know
it is
how that was
skin
spelled.
magazine.
A what?
Skin magazine.
Well, you can't take a picture without your skin, that's for sure. I mean,
that's right. But
I don't take them without my clothes either.
However, everybody else in the book did.
Oh, not really. Now,
this is a magazine like Playboy.
It's similar, right.
And I assume they ask you to take your clothes off for the pictures.
And I immediately said, "You're talking to the wrong girl."
And I must tell you, my friends, having viewed We magazine, I viewed Dottie's copy, she had her clothes on. But she was on.
Yeah, make it
But
real
she was
clear.
very provocative. She didn't have a whole lot of clothes on, but the ones she had on were very pretty.
Thank you very much.
Now, actually, these are not explicit pictures. They show you off to be a very pretty girl.
Well, I'm very flattered that they asked me this year, because this year I became a grandmother. Shelley's baby, and So I'm very flattered that, in a way, that they would ask me to do this. And
What'd you do, hide the book? I was going to pick it up and quote from it.
there you go.
Oh, okay.
But now we were also in this health magazine called Fit, and we're on.
Miss Dottie West, I promised on this show that I would talk about your magazine article in We Magazine, which came out last Christmas, and you got a lot of press on this. I think people could envision Dottie West appearing in the nude. That did not occur. They also portray you in the magazine as being a gorgeous grandma.
Thank you.
And
thank them.
It says grants her most outspoken interview. What do they mean by that?
I'm just very honest.
What were you outspoken about? Because I've got to see, I haven't had a chance to do my homework. I haven't read the interview.
About me in general.
Do you have strong opinions about different things?
Well, opinions, I don't know how strong they
All
are,
right,
but there are things I believe.
Let me re-ask this question.
Okay.
Do you have pet peeves, things that just really bug you?
Yeah, people that ask me why I'm in We Magazine. No. No. Pet peeves. Yes, I hate to get in the shower and drop the soap. Does that bug you? You know, maybe I don't want to get my hair wet at that time or something, but it's just aggravating. You gotta bend over and pick up the soap. You know, that just...
Is that in the We Magazine article?
No, I don't know. I doubt it.
I would imagine that reporters would ask you a lot of questions about your age. And for some, and really, that bothers me a little bit. Dottie and I are about the same age. In fact, we are the same age.
I didn't know that.
We are exactly the same.
Because I think of you as so young. I really do.
It bothers me, I think, that younger people, younger reporters, think that because you are 50, they should put you in a box and stick you out in the middle of a field and cover you up with earth. That you're over the hill.
Oh, my gosh. Do you really think that?
I think that is the way sometimes younger people perceive 50-year-old people. Yes.
Well, now I was just trying to think of when I was young. I remember my mother's 27th birthday. I was born when she was 16. So I remember her 27th birthday, and it just came to me, and I thought, gee, my mom's getting old.
Well,
you know, when you're young, that's the way you think. But as you grow and you have all of these experiences to talk about and remember, it doesn't make you any older. I think it makes you younger.
All right, I guess I'm going to get off of this soapbox, but I guess the point I'm trying to make is that older or middle-aged people have just as much or a right to be sexy, to think young as anybody else, to be pretty as they can be.
I'm the happiest I've ever been. Absolutely.
Okay.
And age has nothing to do, especially if you have good health. And
you take good care of yourself.
Right. And I feel great. I have never felt any better in my life. And everything is going great. I'm just very happy.
Dottie,
and I think that's good, too. A mental attitude about it has so much to do with it.
And you are a very sexy woman. I'll get right to the heart of the matter. You really look terrific.
Well, now I'm blushing. What's the next song you're going to play?
Here Comes My Sexy Baby back again. Want to talk about Kenny Rogers, Miss Dottie West? Are you going to make any more records with Kenny Rogers?
Well, there's a possibility, but you know that there's a little problem when one is on a different label than the other.
All right, now he has just gone to RCA.
Right.
I understand he's made a record with Dolly Parton, for instance.
Really?
Yes.
Oh, I hadn't heard that. That's great.
And he's made records with Kim Carnes.
Right.
But
Sheena Easton.
Right, but he made the most records with you. And since you are touring with him, and also since you have the same manager, I would assume that ultimately that you would make records with him again.
That could happen. I don't know. I really can't say today. But we are touring together, and I go ahead and sing the song that he and Kim Carnes did together because they didn't tour together.
So do you do it with him?
Yes. And he asked me a few weeks ago to do the Sheena Easton song, We've Got Tonight. The song that he and Sheena did together. And I said, do we have to do it in her key? Because she is one of those that sings so high, you know. And I am a contralto voice. So I said, I don't think we can sing it in the same key, but we can sing it, yes. So we might be doing that on this tour.
Well, as he has moved on to perform with other girls, have you thought about performing with other male singers?
Actually, not really, but we've had some talks about, and we've had some people approach us and talk with us about it. But not anything that I can really talk about because it's not for sure. Now, the one thing that I'd like to do, and we've had a lot of requests for, is for Shelley and I to do something together.
Well, I think that'd be a great idea. You know, I mentioned that to you on the phone. If you and Shelley West made a record together, I think I suggested to you the Toon Sisters.
Yes, you did, and that's great. Thank you. You know, Shelley and I are really good friends. I know that we're mother and daughter, but we are really good friends. And she traveled with my show and was, I hesitate to say backup singer, they're called that, or backup vocalist. She stood beside me and sang harmony with me is what she did, you know. And that was the beginning of her singing career.
Yeah, I want to get back to Kenny Rogers for a moment.
Oh, I'm sorry.
May I?
Yeah, but we were talking about duets.
Okay. I want to get to the rumor mill, okay? Has it ever been rumored that you had a romance with Kenny Rogers?
Oh, sure. Rumors and people write letters.
Was it ever in print?
Well, I can't think just where, but I'm sure that it has been. And I know that I get a lot of letters. A lot of people will ask me, but especially in fan mail. And the way I usually answer that is they think we have a good thing going, and I tell them it's true. We do have a good thing going. They voted us Duo of the Year twice in a row, and that's a good thing going.
That's not what they're talking about.
I know. There is nothing else to talk about. He is a very special friend. We've had a lot of fun working together, and we still will. We all know that he's married to Mary Ann Gordon Rogers, and they have a beautiful baby boy. We are special friends.
I know that. But anytime somebody sings with somebody else, the rumor mill starts. It's inevitable. They'll start rumors now probably about Charlie McLean and Mickey Gilley. It just always happens that way. Have you ever been rumored to be in love with anybody else?
Well, I'm going to answer that with a question. Have you, Ralph?
No. But you see, I am not cast in the same light as you are.
You hear rumors, yes. You know, there was people that, because on one, we worked a few dates together, too. I'm speaking of John Schneider from the Dukes of Hazzard. We had one song together that we did on an album of mine. He happened to be in town. We're good friends, and we've toured together some. We worked Lake Tahoe together. We did a cartoon not too long ago together, and it will be shown in September in quite a few countries. It's called A Lost Star with the Raccoons.
Dottie, you mentioned a moment ago something that came right off the wall at me. I wasn't aware that you had made a cartoon with John Schneider. What's that all about?
And Rich Little. It's strictly a cartoon. It's like
you see on Saturday morning?
Yes, it's a 2-hour special. It's very much like...
Or do we see you portrayed in a cartoon?
I'm Melissa Raccoon. You only hear my voice.
Oh.
I do sing as Dottie. There are 5 songs.
Is this a movie?
Yeah, it's a movie. But you go in the studio and do this little voice, you know, and you become this little character, you know, and it's really fun. It's like acting, except just audio, or just the sound.
What's
and it was
the name
really
of the movie?
fun. The Lost Star with the Raccoons. And it will be played in September.
Is John Schneider a raccoon?
Yes,
Okay.
And the narrator is Rich Little. And there's a cute little dog in it, kids, called Schaefer. You're going to love him. And then, of course, there's a bad guy. But John and I sing some songs together. There are 2 duets, and then some other. We went up for the premiere not long ago. It was the premiere was held in Ottawa, Canada, because it was produced by by some Canadian producers, and written there. And it's very much like a Walt Disney. It really
How were you
is.
selected for this?
I don't know. They have heard our records, and they happened to call and
What do you sing
ask
in the
for us.
picture?
What do I sing?
What
They're
does the raccoon that you represent sing?
Well,
Are these all new tunes?
yeah, they're all brand new songs. So they were written for the. It's like a play, but it's a cartoon. It's a story.
Is it funny or sad or what?
Well, there's a little, now and then there's a little tinge of sadness because you
It's like
really
watching
feel sorry for little
Bambi.
Schaefer. Right. Schaefer's such a good little dog, and he tries to get us all back because the bad guys have got us, the monsters have us, on the wrong ship up in space. And, it's fun. It really was fun to be a raccoon.
Miss Dottie West, I thank you very much. You were a delightful guest.
Thank you. It's been a fun day, and I'll see you again soon.